Hello, my name is
Hello.
Tian, and I had a conversation with some of my favorite people, and Carolyn Roberts is one of them. And so I think the whole point of our conversations is to share maybe what can be of support to people at the time that we're in, and also what can, what are some nuggets that hopefully will awaken in you to hopefully find your center, your empowerment. So that's kind of what's been behind everything for me. And I offer, yoga and channeled sessions and group classes where we gather together and help do some quantum healing with one another, where we can use energy, we can use breath, we can use our inner codes of wisdom that's already in us, that are all lighting up and waking up now, and when we gather two or more, you've heard of that phrase, and it's we actually amplify that and anchor it for the planet. So
Mhm.
would you like to kind of talk about who you are and why
Sure.
are you
Yeah.
on the planet right now?
Okay. Hi. Nice to meet everybody. My name is Carolyn Roberts. Kind of tired, so I'm a little more laid back than normal. But I'm me. I'm me all the time. So, who am I? I am a spiritual teacher, a pure channel. I offer soul sessions where I work with your higher self and the needs requested by your higher self, balanced with what you in this grounded now are seeking. Um, I connect with the Akash within me. That's called the Library of the Heart. But I also offer
The Akashic record.
personalized sessions just for whatever is being requested, which could be many things. My mission is as a reawakener of the conversation of the heart, which is the conversation between the sacred mind, sacred heart, body, vehicle, voice of the soul. And I'm here for all souls that resonate with that, with those words and my energy, um, for the highest service. And trying to think if there's anything else. I do art, um, and I do think something called blessing pics, which are my the words that come through me with the images, and these are basically teachers. Um,
They're photographs you take in nature that are full of light and energy
yeah,
present.
very light filled. And then I do my doodles, which are joy doodles. They're a type of blessing pic also. Um, because I'm very connected to joy and to the child
Yeah.
within all of us.
Yeah. So just like my
Okay.
paintings, they have life. They have energy. They are their own teachers, right? They awaken
Yeah.
us.
Yes. You there?
Yes,
Okay. I get
sadly it's
little delays of about 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So I'm like, you there? You there? Okay.
we're going to cross this process that we're going to be able to do this.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, so both of us are in some ways we bring in the art and the joy and the whimsy through our creativity, but also through um, wisdom teachings, and holding
Hmm.
space with others in ways that will help awaken you. So we're here to just support you 100%.
Oh, fully. Yeah.
Beautiful. So when you say, I love it when you always say you're here to awaken the conversation of the heart.
Reawaken.
Reawaken,
Reawaken.
because it's already there
Mhm.
and it's just opening the door, right?
Yeah.
And so that we have this higher wise heart and divine mind and whatever you want to call it, but we have something that's
Hmm.
all already connected to the body, to the spirit, to the emotions, everything that's in alignment.
Hmm.
Right? So any part that has been off kilter, we're lining it up again. Yes?
Moving back to balance. Yeah, it's within me. it's healing, and healing to me is about being moving back into balance, moving back into center, moving back into divine alignment. All the hardware and software is already there. This is just bringing everything back online and walking the path to bring it back online, and then walking the path of being back online, being aligned, which is yeah, that's where we're
Yeah,
all headed
including you and
right
me.
now.
And you're tired. Sometimes I'm still integrating. I was telling, I mean, I do collage classes, where I hold space where we do lots of healing, but with the visual of creating collage and maybe journaling about them. And I tell them whenever there's a theme, I have to process it too. Every week,
Yeah.
I'm doing some inner, like, just clearing whatever thing in me that isn't, like, for example, softening was a theme
Yeah.
for last Saturday, and so I've been softening any hard places that are ready to come up in the peeling of the onion that each one of us
Wow.
does. And it is a process that is not for the faint of heart. At times, it can feel like you're not going to be able to process it, but it's important to know that we are with you. So many of us have done this, are doing it, in the middle of doing it, and that light that's in us is cracking open. And then when we join with one another, it's just pure joy. So there's
Yeah.
good. My guidance has always been, we're saving the best for last for you, Tina. Like, it's all just going to get easier and lighter and more fun. And
Yeah, I hear that. Yes, I've heard yes. And I hold on to that because some days are more difficult than others, even though
that
that is
specific,
subjective as well, you know?
yeah, because some days you're like, hell no, it's not. It's really scary and feel intense as things are breaking down.
Yeah.
So I just want to honor that truth,
Yeah.
but it's not the ultimate truth. When you pan back and pull back and really feel into what is really, really true.
Yeah. There's been a shift within me. I mean, over the last what month, 2 months maybe, there's this calm that comes in, and I can tell that the collective is in a stressed space, but I'm not stressed. I mean, I can feel it, and my heart goes out, and in the beginning I would feel guilt because I'd be like, oh, I'm supposed to, because but I know very clearly now that my highest service is um to be honorable to what I receive, and to be authentic, and to be that expression, and to be that light, to be that beacon. And
And that's not denial. Uh,
it's not, no, it's not. It's a place of like, it's just like anybody who's suffering, you know, the way through the suffering is to completely accept all of it, the whole kit and caboodle, the beautiful stuff and the horrible stuff, you
this
know?
is the thing I wanted to mention today because it came to me that, how people say, you plant, some people believe this, and I do feel like we make some soul agreements with certain souls that we're going to heal something that maybe we couldn't heal before in another lifetime or a previous time. And so there's like a do-over where you might have a different ending, or you might have a different opportunity, or an opportunity to really go deeper into healing that you couldn't do before.
Mhm.
And as painful as it is, even if on a human level you might never ever hang out with that person again, there was an agreement that someone says, I will be part of this process to help you to, and to me, more often than not, it is to bring healing and kindness and gentleness and
Mhm.
integration where you couldn't.
Yeah.
Not just saying that as words, but really feeling the truth of it is starting to finally happen, where
Deep.
the story of we all must suffer as a collective is not holding the same weight that it did before.
No, it's not.
And so, can we all really tune into the truth that all of this is for the empowerment of each and every one of us, including Mother Earth. And we are, if you lean into that deeper truth, that you're going to get through this transition with a lot more grace and ease. You'll
Totally.
know some people will have to do things that others won't, right? Some people will have to take risks in ways that maybe I won't, right? But
The thing
go ahead.
what I was going to say, I've never knew this about myself, and this is, you could say this for anybody who's going through difficult times. You know, you learn things about yourself that you had no idea. I never ever knew, and I had to learn, and this is about being an alchemist, right? How to take that pain, that suffering, that misery, and to take that energy and to channel it into
Artwork.
something that lifts you up, something that pulls you forward and lights you up and makes you look forward to a new day. And it's not the past, it's new creations, and you take that energy and you channel it into it's just this intense energy, and it's a hard lesson to get because misery can get comfortable. You can get comfortable sitting in misery. But it's like at some point, it's human nature. You get tired of misery and you're like, what else can I do?
Get tired of blaming yourself and others.
Yeah. And you're just like,
We're
that
all old,
energy.
outdated ways of being.
Yes.
And then something else kicks in.
Yeah. You get tired of, this is my clarity, is you get tired of being miserable. You're crying, and you're crying for how long, how many times, and you find you have this conversation within yourself, or it begins, and you're like, wow, how long have I been crying? This headache hurts, my mouth is dry, what was I crying about again? And you just kind of, you sometimes you can even just shift. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm tired of this. What else can I do? Because this is not, I'm not able to do anything in this space. And that's the place where you're learning. Ideally, you're being kind to yourself about whatever you're suffering about. And you take that angst of the suffering and you channel it into something that matters.
Something that will move, something that will change form, something that
Yeah.
um,
Something that lights your heart.
lights your heart.
And
Yeah.
when it lights your heart, it gives you that, you it's like you open a door. When it lights your heart, it's like you open a door and you're like, whoa, this is what it means to feel good. This is what it means to feel happy. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to go back to that misery, because misery is just as addictive as happiness is. You just got to pick the polarity.
Now, that's not to say that there hasn't been some suffering
Yep.
through this change. So let's just be clear. And
Yep.
unnecessary suffering that is generated from people's fear right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But if we focus inwardly and say, well, what part of me can I clear and alchemize first? That's
Yes,
the best place to start.
for sure.
Because that's also a pattern. If I keep looking outside of me, then I don't take care of the thing that's right here.
Completely.
This heart that you talked about before, that
Yes.
some tenderness, the inner child who maybe all the times when you were traumatized in your past or past lives, anytime where you forgot who you were, you can go in and now bring her back or him back or them back, whatever parts of you that need
Yeah,
passion, that need tenderness. So, one of the biggest things I've learned personally and also supporting others in is to go from blame to what do you need? Blame and attack and judgment. What do you
mhm,
need? If you go right and you bypass all of that suffering, I need to judge and fight and blah, 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 and to go right to what do I need? I need compassion and gentleness.
yeah,
And I will hold space for that and I will be present to that and I will really stay put and have that inner conversation.
for self. Yes, absolutely.
then that is alchemizing right there. That is stitching together what I
Yes. To
not
me, it all starts within.
a
It
soul,
it all starts within.
it all starts within.
All of it.
You
All of it.
know that when you're going through it.
Yeah. Because you're pointing, and it's understandable. I'm not saying it's not, but the change won't come from the pointing, just like you were saying, you know,
We can only alchemize ourselves, and we're all alchemists. And
completely. Yes.
you have an inner code system. Like you have your own software that knows just how to do that. And you
Yeah.
might need a friend or two, and we are your friends, to be able to hold space for you to reawaken that and remember what your natural alchemizing code is.
I'm hearing within me it's a voice. It's learning how to tune into a new voice.
You know, in the you often hear in the Bible, be still and know that I am God. Or you'll hear there's one passage, and I can't remember which one it is, where you'll hear this wild and crazy storm and you'll hear this other thing, and then there's the quiet. And that's really your inner knowing.
Yes.
And you have to hold out for that. You can't get distracted by the wild and crazy storm that's out there in the world. You have to
Yeah.
keep listening until that small, tiny voice that you couldn't differentiate before now becomes louder and louder and louder. And that's
Yes.
the divine within us. And we
And
each, wow.
that voice gets so loud until it's like you could be in a concert, you could still hear that voice.
And I think we're all headed there. And that's the good news. We are going to hear our inner voices with so much more clarity. And so part of the unraveling of systems is also this system of fake Tinas and fake Carolyns, identities that we've carried. And so as they crumble, this voice will get loud and clear.
Yes.
And that's for every one of us. And we're at different parts of that journey. It might look very
Yes.
different. Some people might get a big, like, oh my God, it's suddenly loudness is already there. Some people might slowly get there. But so that is the good news. As painful and scary and unknowing as it can seem to not know what our future can hold.
The thing that I keep getting is the time we're in now, there's all the distractions. And so that makes it can make it more difficult. That's why the inner work is required, because there's so many distractions, and there's many out there that are presenting themselves as the answer or the spiritual person, guru, or whatever. And the ultimate spiritual guru is the one within you.
Yes.
You take it,
That's
you listen to that one.
in the heart.
Yes,
If you're going to work with
completely.
someone, you're going to collaborate in that. No one is your, no one has a power over you anymore.
And the other thing I'm getting is there's a lot of media that's intended to, it's flashy, it's distracting, and it pulls you out. And basically the way it does it, the energy, it puts you in your ego. You're pulled to these things.
Right.
And the more that you connect with the inner, the less the flashy calls you. You have awareness of the flashy. Oh yeah, I see that.
Be
But
there. Yeah.
you're centered in you, even in the flashy. And
Yes.
it's basically
It's an oak
that.
tree. It's an oak tree with roots. Like once
Yeah, it's a
you'll be like,
because
oh,
the flashy is still
my
there. I mean, that's our society, you
but
know?
my root is gonna keep me grounded, and I'm gonna like, you know how it is when you go, there's no meat in that. Like I don't, it doesn't hold weight. It doesn't have that, any, you know what I mean? You'll be like, it'll seem more,
Value. It doesn't have value.
doesn't have, no, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It'll feel, you can feel that there's no weight behind it and there's no strength.
Yeah.
It's just not real. on some
And
level.
there's more, I see more that are, they're tapping into spiritual concepts, they're saying certain things, but it's like you have to use your discernment.
It's got to land in your body. It's got to
Y-
resonate here. It's got to resonate in
yeah,
your gut. It's got to resonate everywhere.
everywhere, because
Not
they put the buzzwords up there, they've got the, but it's like you have to, for me, with everything, the first thing I look at and I discern is, what is the intent? What is the intent? What are they trying to convey? Why are they trying to convey it? Are they genuinely interested in informing me and empowering me, or are they just wanting more viewership and full of ego and putting it out there? And there are ones out there that it's kind of, you're like, well, how is it? And honestly, to me, these days, some are black and white and some are kind of gray, and you have to discern for yourself,
that's
because some spiritual people would say, hey, they're not bad. But for you, because we all have different sensitivity levels,
right.
some who are in the spiritual community might be like, hey, they're okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And others will be like, too much. It's too much, you know?
So you have to know your body.
Yeah.
You have to know how your inner mechanism works. And does it resonate? Does it land with you? Does your heart go, yes, this touches all the levels of my oak tree?
Recognition. I'm hearing recognition in the heart, recognition of the heart. When I hear resonate, was it resonate to me? That's reason of the heart. And then that's the first time I've ever heard within me also recognition of the heart. Like the heart knows the energy is connected to that already.
When we were little and you were talking about being joyful in our children, we knew
Yeah.
when somebody was
Yeah.
really to us that we
You're
were,
just like, hey, no, I don't want to be around that person. They're just
our heart
no.
knew something was clear and we shut down that knowing. And that's opening up. That's the good. That's the good news.
I
And
mean, even like today, you remember okay, so I part-time substitute teach, and today I had first graders. And even though I thought I was being kind of rough on them, I wasn't trying to be. It's just 30 first graders. You got to be kind of firm. And I thought, but no, I still had them come up to me and they were all happy. And then I had a couple of them hug me, and so they could tell the core of me was not trying to be gruff. I just was trying to
firm
reach them.
boundary is necessary for all.
Yes, and they knew it, and that made me happy, because even after I did discipline him, I only had one crying, and I came up and I talked to him. But it's like they know, the
The love
children know,
you said.
they
Animals
know.
too, when they come up to you
Yeah,
and they
they
know.
do.
Like I talked to my cat. She's over there on the couch, just kind of chilling out. Uh, and I'll tell her when I appreciate something. I tell her when how grateful I am for her. And she feels that. You can talk a whole other language, but the heart knows. Always the heart knows.
Yes,
Lands deeply. And we're going to have heart-centered businesses, heart-centered ways of communicating. That's the only way
completely.
to happen in this future. And that's something to look forward to. And we were all born to be here at this time together, to witness this heart-opening time.
The thought popped in my head just a second ago about, I got this really clearly, how it was like, how did you start when I was in my struggle, my most intense time? And what I got within me is, where did you go? What did you do that made it easier? And I was being reminded of, when you're in that struggle, when you're in that suffering, to do things that make you happy, to make and to establish what is called within me habits of grace, things that make you happy and habits that feed you, maybe exercise, maybe eating better,
Walking
maybe
outside, looking at a
going
tree.
out going outside, which is what I did. Outside, go to the park, go sit in the tree, go journal, go draw, go doodle, go sing, go do something that moves the energy through your body and make it a habit. And so it becomes one of those pillars and anchors
It's just
in
like
your life.
nourishing food. You are breathing the air. You need it. The
Yes.
needs to feed you, and not
Yeah.
consider it as selfish and all the stuff. See that we have a lot of thought stories that we attach,
Yes.
and we have to see them also as the distractions and the chaos that's out there.
Yes.
Not true. And for the inner child work that I have done for myself, and I still do, is that my inner child needs me, my soul, to speak truth, to help understand a moment where I picked up on something that was off from my heart, to give that example from before, and I
Hmm.
didn't get validation or someone explaining it to me. And then I told a story that it was my fault, or I told a story that X, Y, and Z was going to happen, and or I had to protect my heart. And
Yeah.
and sometimes you do, and not to judge it, but to just say to my inner self,
Excuse me.
hey, I can see why you went that route. This part was true. You were spot on about that. And this part wasn't. And you don't have to connect them anymore. Let's untangle that. And this part, I witness it. I witness your truth. I witness your heart. I witness this. But this part that says this, this, and this about you, that's not true.
Not true. Yep.
And somehow there's a part of you that goes, thank God someone saw it. It's like your inner child just wants someone to witness something and tell it to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Of us who are truth telling people, and that's our gift, we need to hear it from our own selves.
Hmm.
And you'll know there are different levels of truth, right? There's a truth of someone hurt my heart, but that doesn't mean my heart is broken, right? So then you get into the nitty gritty of what's the ultimate truth? What's the ultimate truth? What's the ultimate truth, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
It,
When you were talking about that, the first thought I had was when I started going to the park, you know, letting myself go to the park. I didn't have much work and I had looked for work, couldn't find it. And so I would go to the park and I would hear a voice in my head saying, because this is how conditioned we are, 9 to 5, you're supposed to be at work. What is your problem? And so for 6 months,
yeah.
I heard this judgment in my head. What are you doing? How dare you sit in the park? You're supposed to be working. You're supposed to be. And it was like this blasting voice. And it's so funny because even 2 years later, when I was doing it, sometimes that voice would try to pop in me. And I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm happy here. We're
That's
good.
why your inner voice got louder, right? The truth
Yeah.
got louder finally. And then you
Yeah.
there's that voice. You know what? I have a really funny way of handling that voice that I tell people. It's kind of fun. I said, you need to go rest in the cabana on a little hammock. So that voice says, you need a vacation. This is beyond your pay grade. This is bigger than your database. And it's
Yeah.
okay. You did a good job, but no more danger, no more shoulding.
Done good. You've done
Go
that.
lie down.
Conditioning is so strong. That was my clarity. And I told my clients that conditioning is so strong that you have to be vigilant with yourself.
Yeah,
You
you
just,
got
you got to just be like, no, I'm good. I'm good. We're good. You know?
notice we're not being mean to it.
No, nope.
We're saying this is the inner child we created
Mhm.
to help us make sense of something hard. Oh, my sensitivity wasn't heard. Oh, I have to do it this way. I should do this. Or someone tells you you should do this, right? But it comes in, and that is being melted away. You know.
All
But
the should.
but the inner child created it to make sense of something she couldn't, or he couldn't, or they couldn't. And so you don't want to cut it out, because
No,
then that inner child goes, "Are you cutting me out too?"
because
No.
it's still you. Yeah.
Right, right. Because it was a creation of yours that helped you try to understand something very painful, but that it needs to be loved, it needs to be redirected and guided. And usually that means, you know, go lie down. I think we need to go take a break and go see the trees, don't we? Should we get a nice meal right now? Right? But I love the idea of this striped cabana, you know, this little tent and this little hammock that's just for the part of the brain that really tried to help us in survival mode.
Yep.
So what happens is then it starts easing, and it gives you a way. And it, you know, initially you're like, I'm just talking to myself. That sounds really whacked, right? But then you go, a part of me needs witnessing. A part of me needs acknowledging. A part of me needs to come in there and parent or guide
Yep.
the parts that are are confused, or, like I said, made up distorted stories. And so any kind of distorted stories or distractions that are out there or in here, see, we
Or negative belief systems.
negative
Yes.
beliefs are those distractions. So we need to
Yeah.
go, hey, we've been playing some inner emotional game where we'll feel pull to should something when it was just a thought that wasn't even ours to have. And we just chip away at it, one little by little. And sometimes that layer of the onion has to keep being chipped until it's enough, like you said, enough mass clearing that the door opened. Boom.
Yep. The scales get tipped.
Never go back. And you can, once you do that, you can't go back to the old way. So there's good that's coming through this. And to feel the weight of it in your body, to talk to yourself, to give the things that bring you joy, all the stuff we've been talking about. These are some things you can do. And go, wee, I'm learning. Make you laugh, right?
And you learn how to tap into your heart, and you just move in the moment, and you move in the flow,
Yeah.
and you get better and better at tuning into the voice and moving that flow and moving in that flow and spontaneously
Yeah.
doing things, and
Yeah. And
doing things that you never thought you would do, but you enjoy it, and you're not concerned about the judgment of others anymore. You're just like, nope, I want to do this, dancing in your kitchen while you're cooking and
hey, when we were kids, we were making mud cakes. We didn't care how it looked, did we?
yeah, you
We were
just
like,
enjoying
ooh, this would be kind of fun, right?
being present. Yeah, yeah.
And it's not a distracting fun. It's a not
No,
fun
it's an
that
immersion into
it's
the moment.
you just enjoying the
Uh,
moment from your heart.
completely, completely.
And that's what your spirit team wants, the divine wants, wherever you call God, goddess, whatever. We are supported in that. Mother Earth wants us to enjoy. Yeah. Well, if you feel complete for today, maybe you can send me some information about how people can get a hold of you so we can. I'm going to upload this on my YouTube, and then hopefully you can upload this wherever you want to as well.
I
So we can
will, definitely.
share just this message of hope, I think, and a little bit of guidance and love for everybody out there
Fully.
in this rebirthing and reawakening of the heart.
Yeah, because it's the next level of you, of all of us. It's our next level.
Any final words?
Um, Grateful for anybody's attention and for anything that served anybody, and for them to know that the fact that they're giving themselves time to watch this means a lot for them, because that's an act of self-love, and all healing starts from those small acts of self-love.
Yeah. Always check into your body. How do you feel after a conversation, an exchange, a watching of a video like this? You know it'll land differently. It'll have that it'll just make sense.
It'll align you completely. Yes,
So
completely.
feel free to reach out if you would like any of our artwork and our sessions and our group kind of gathering.
Yeah,
We're here for you. And we
definitely.
thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye. Bye.